Rogan Report podcast. Check it out.
All things Joe Rogan by day. Rogan Report podcast by night. All day. All night. A half hour to an hour-ish episodes once a week.
The Rogan Report podcast.
All right, Shane, welcome back to the backyard.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back. It's
Right.
a little chillier this time.
A little cool. We got some wind, but we got the wind screens on the microphones, so we should have the best sound we've ever had.
That should be, yeah.
I think.
I
If
think,
my
yeah.
logic works, then we're going to be good. Exciting week in Joe Rogan.
It was.
And so we'll just go through the table of contents here. We're on right off the topic. We're going to talk, of course, about the latest COVID bullshit, the economy in Alberta. Open today. Hooray. Alberta's numbers we'll go through. I was on a couple podcasts. Maybe we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. Some great local. Shout out to Learning to Listen, and shout out to, I haven't been on it yet, but I'm going to be going on Dope Nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite bands on there.
Yeah.
So let's get. Well, then I guess we'll go through our Rogan reporting. We're going to talk, of course, UFC 249, the big pay-per-view in the empty stadium in Florida. I think it was, right?
Yeah, Florida.
So that was amazing. What an event.
Yeah.
And then we're going to touch on JRE 1470 with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
That was a pivotable?
Yeah.
Nope, it was not
I
pivotable.
think pivotal is the word
It
you're
was
looking
just
for.
pivotal.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal episode. And then 1471, Tony Hinchcliffe. I just want to mention one quick thing about that.
Yeah.
So let's get into right off the topic. COVID-19, still kind of crazy here, but much, much, much less crazy than it could have been.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Kenny just had his update here a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Today we're recording this May 14th, and the economy is officially open today here in Alberta. The first phase, anyways, officially starts today, even though we kind of soft opened with opening some golf courses and some other stuff.
That was a week ago? 2 weeks ago. Because
Yeah.
that was right when we recorded last time.
Yeah, like May 3rd, I think they
Is
kind of
it
soft
me, or
opened.
is this stage one a lot more open than stage one looked when they first announced this thing?
It does feel that way. I didn't think we were going to have hairdressers, but
Well, I thought-
hairdressers are open. Which,
And retail stores, I thought that was phase two. Retail shops. And
I
not everyone's open. That's another note here. A lot of places aren't choosing to open or aren't prepared to open.
it's true. I walked through the halls of West Edmonton Mall today. Biggest mall
Oh,
in
it
the
was
world.
open?
Oh yeah, and there was about 12 of the 200 stores open.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty quiet, but the stores there was Champs. They were super busy. They had a big lineup.
People
and-
are horny to spend some money,
yeah,
in
Absolutely.
person.
yeah. And it was kind of surreal still to walk through the mall and
Yeah.
have everything be closed. It's just weird.
Like being in there after 9 o'clock almost, kind of,
yeah,
but in the
kind of,
daytime.
but in a more weird
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So
The signage must be fucking everywhere in there.
yeah, every front door has "Sorry, we're closed due to COVID-19." You know, some semblance of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm done with the signage.
Yeah,
I'm ready to not see it anymore.
I wonder if we'll hear. We're outside, so there might be the occasional dogs barking or siren in the distance. I
Yeah.
wonder if that'll come through.
There
on
is
the
a fire
microphones.
station, right there.
Yeah, which is good if you have a fire in your house.
Yeah.
Maybe not so good if you're recording a podcast on your deck.
Does that thing ever bother you when you're trying to sleep?
Not really. My
Yeah.
house is pretty soundproof. One of the things I love about this location too is there's a train that goes by a couple kilometers away from here, and if everything is 100% quiet, you'll just hear the train whistle choo choo
Yeah.
in the distance, and
Yeah,
it's just faint, and you have to be awake and have everything quiet to hear it. If it's there's even just a TV quietly, you'll miss it.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're sleeping, of course you'll miss it. So it doesn't wake you, but I just love hearing it just every once in a while when the house is silent. I just hear this really faint train whistle.
I like trains. I actually have an ambient sound of trains.
Oh,
I
really?
Listen to sometimes. It's on YouTube. I
The
don't have it. It's
The
there.
chugga chugga chugga. Of,
Well, it's more of a distant. I like it with rain too.
oh, okay,
Raining and
Oh, you
then
got a
the distant- Mostly rain.
sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind rain. I like rain on a tent. I don't find that the sound through my phone is nearly as good as the actual sound of rain
Yeah.
on a tent.
Sometimes it sounds like static noise.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know. And same thing, there's one is waves, and it sounds so dinky Whereas like when you're actually sleeping by the ocean and
It roars like
you
you feel
like
it in your
there's
chest.
some bass to it, and
Yeah.
it's such a different thing. Even a brook that's moving with it is much quieter than the ocean. It's like there's a certain essence that's missing on these apps.
Yeah.
But the one I usually listen to is also a cross. You know what? Here, I'll play a little tiny bit because I have what's called tinnitus, and it's from playing drums and loud rock bands. I've damaged my hearing, and so when everything goes quiet, all of a sudden my ears will sometimes just start ringing.
Oh yeah.
Like I'd been at a concert for really, for hours, and it actually has healed quite a bit, but it still does flare up every once in a while. It'll just start ringing, and usually it'll last for maybe 10 to 30 seconds, and then it'll go away.
Oh yeah. That's
But it
not
used
terrible.
a few years ago, it was anytime it was quiet. I had no silence for like a year or two. Anytime it was quiet, the ringing would start, and then when it would get some ambient noise, the ringing would go away.
Oh yeah.
And it was so weird. So that's why I started had to have a sleep app going with some ambient noise.
Yeah.
So the one I do is Rain, and it sounds like this.
Sounds nice. Yeah. I can
Yeah.
hear, but barely. The headphones must be down low, hey?
I wonder if that will come through.
I think it's coming through. I think it's just our headphones are down really low.
I just cranked it on my phone. So that's the one I usually go with. Here's Rain with lightning and windmills, wind turbines. Shane, are you soothed?
Oh man.
Have you fallen asleep yet?
If I wasn't choking on this fiery ass whiskey, that might be. Oh my god.
So yeah, those are kind of my go-tos. Should we talk about this whiskey? You brought
let's
a
do it.
delicious bourbon, and we're drinking it with the whiskey rocks. So we haven't added any water to this to maintain the integrity of the 50%.
It's a good deal stronger than I'm used to.
Yeah.
To be honest, I usually put ice.
So 100 proof.
Yeah, it's 100 proof. It's called excuse me, I'm still collecting myself from that
Sure.
last power
Yeah.
slam I took foolishly. It's a Colonel E.H. Taylor, and it's a small batch bottle. I found it just kind of looking at the websites.
Yeah.
I'm kind of new to collecting whiskey. Not
Sure.
as new now, but so I just kind of go through what people rate the highest rated bourbons, and I go looking for them.
Yeah,
If
try
I
'em
can
out.
afford them, and these are kind of at the top of what I can afford right now.
Yeah.
Which is, about $90.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even that, I feel a bit like a dickhead when I buy them, but I still want to buy them.
Yeah, you don't need to buy them all the time, and
Really, I can only buy one at a time.
yeah, you
usually.
shouldn't be like just draining those every night. You want to savor that, have a drink out of it once a month or every couple of
Yeah.
months, maybe.
You go through your Bullet and your Buffalo Trace
Yeah,
if you feel like
exactly.
you need to go through whiskey, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, should we review the Alberta numbers here?
Let's do it.
So, we had 6,457 confirmed cases, 5,205 recovered people, and 121 deaths. So we still got a few hundred people sick, but much, much, much better than the projections were for what we might see in Alberta, which is great. Super happy to see that. And, I know Rogan has talked about this too, but with my friends, I tend to lean left, and there's a lot of things I really disagree with Kenny about, but I hope he's successful in dealing with this crisis, in this pandemic, because for me to hope that for him not to be successful and to want him to fail would mean I would be hoping that Alberta has more deaths and more sickness, and I don't hope that. There's no
I don't
way.
want that at all. I mean, I used to almost kind of have this weird fantasy, like a lot of people do, fantasy about like a zombie apocalypse
Sure.
or just an apocalypse in general. And now that we've even had the slightest toe dip into it, I'm like, nah, let's just have everything run normal.
Yeah, that would be
I
nice.
think I like normal.
Yeah, keep or better.
Yeah, or
Right?
better. Yeah.
Normal or better.
Let's
Yeah.
keep going forward.
Yeah, I think strive for progress, and if we can make diseases like this a thing of the past eventually, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I am a little worried that we're going to, there's a lot of talk about the second wave, and I think it might be more fear mongering, and like I kind of feel like that's what the media is doing to us a lot, not just a little bit. We're getting a lot of fear mongering.
Yeah, some for sure.
A lot of good information too, but you got to remember they're learning real time, just like we are.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
remember on John Oliver, he was showing clips of all the different news agencies, not just left-wing, but right-wing news agencies, both, and all saying the same thing. Oh, it's just a flu.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing major. Oh, this and that. And like, you know, as the disease progressed, their tunes slowly changing, and with just a little bit more new information, a little bit more new information. Okay, well, it's not bad, but we should probably stay indoors and self-isolate. And then, okay, it is bad.
Yeah.
Don't go to New York.
yeah,
You know,
don't go
like-
to New York. Still don't wear masks though.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's wear masks.
Yeah.
For sure. Now you have to. You have to. in
I mean,
some
things are
places.
changing daily, and I don't think it's a bad thing to wear masks.
No, I haven't put one on yet, to be honest, though.
I have. I worked with the public. I was greeting people at my
Had
store
to,
today, and so I didn't have to. It was optional.
Oh, okay.
But I thought I'm at the front of the store greeting people. I want to lead by example. And,
Probably make them feel better.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want
Yeah.
people to feel comfortable
Yeah.
walking into a retail space. You know, we had a script where we were telling everyone that we're encouraging social distancing and touchless payment,
Mhm.
and we have, you know, totally kind of revamped the store to set it up for social distancing, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. I really think it's making people feel better. Some people don't care, but the people that do care, I hope they feel safe shopping, because I want stores to still exist. I think there's always going to be a place for stores to exist in my head. People to go out and actually hold a thing before they
I've been
they
missing
purchase
it.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
there's been Walmart, but like, I'm over Walmart. I'm so done going to Walmart for like a long time. I've been actually trying to lean towards mom and pop stuff as much as possible. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think, you know, support Canadian
go to the
companies
small liquor store.
first as much as you can.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can go to the small liquor store, the small restaurants.
The small
and support
pot
them.
shops.
Yeah.
Because there's the big guys and then there's a fucking million
Yeah.
tiny ones.
Yeah, I think,
So-
you know, as much as we can support local business, we should be doing that.
Yeah. And at this point, I think everybody just needs to spend what they can spend and get things going. I feel like that's what I'm prepared to do.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to spend anyway. They live.
So, is that enough about Alberta and the economy opening and whatnot?
And COVID, yeah. I mean,
COVID?
I'm looking forward to the podcast when we don't have to give an update on COVID.
That will be nice. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just start moving the COVID updates to the end of the podcast
Yeah.
first, so that we can talk about other things right off the top.
Yeah. It always sits so heavy in the mind, though. Like, that's all
Yeah.
anyone talks about.
It's
so it's
true.
Like, it's
It's-
hard to avoid it.
It's massive in
Yeah.
our society.
It's almost the big elephant you need to get out of the room first.
Let's do a little Rogan reporting. Do you want to talk about UFC, or do you want to talk about the JRE episodes first?
That's up to you. We could go.
Let's
could
start
switch
with
it up.
chronologically and start with the JRE, because
Yeah.
both of these episodes came out before the UFC.
Okay.
So, 1470, Elon Musk, a little bit of a different, I don't want to say performance, a different tone, I guess, from him on this episode versus the first episode.
Yeah. I think he realized the implications of being on JRE
Yeah.
after the first one.
Yeah. He's so contemplative. He still was the same guy, and it's so interesting. Sometimes I wonder what's going on in his head when he's giving
Yeah.
these responses. Is he like, as Joe says, he feels like it's an adult talking to a baby, or he's
That's
like,
right,
"Oh,
yeah.
did you color a picture? Oh yeah, is that
Good
is
job,
that
little
you?
buddy."
Oh, that's your mom. Oh, okay." And it's like,
Meanwhile, he's thinking about Neuralink and
Yeah.
fucking.
it was
Yeah.
awesome that they got into Neuralink and really talked about how it's gonna start, and then where it could go,
Yeah.
because that was something that they really didn't talk about at all in the last episode, and it's fascinating. So they drill a hole in your skull, and then they embed a chip, and then they send wires from the chip out into the neurons in your brain. And the first goal is to be able to heal like severe trauma. So you can't move your legs anymore. They will be able to heal that.
Yeah.
Or like you can't talk anymore because of brain damage. They can heal that.
Yeah.
That's the first aspect. And that's how they get people into testing it. Like, oh, you want to be able to walk? Look, we have this chip. Do you want to test it out? Okay, great. There you go. Now you can walk. Now you can walk even better than you could walk before.
Right.
and then from there, as it develops, telepathic communication, massive computing power, all in your head. Like the sky's the limit on this thing, and it really is an exciting piece of technology.
It is, and the idea that he's working on it right now, that kind of means it's happening. It's going to happen
Yeah.
in some form.
One of my favorite parts of the podcast is Joe's like, okay, so like how long before like we have telepathic communication? He's like, oh, not for a very long time. I was like, okay, well, like if you had to put a number on it, oh, about 5 years.
Yeah,
like
whoa, what?
5 years?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that might as well be tomorrow.
Yeah, totally.
I thought that was fascinating, and I've had like in all my extreme sports that I've done in my youth and all the drinking that I've done forever.
Yeah,
I feel like I've killed a lot of brain cells, and if they can put a chip in my head that helps me to have better recall of my memories and be able to put my sentences together in a way that where I don't have to like think about it while I'm saying it,
It's almost like the limitless pill.
that would be awesome. Yeah. If they could put a limitless pill in my head,
Yeah.
I'm kind of down. And I don't want to be the first adopter, but I might not be.
What happens if some creep overlord though like decides I'm taking control of all these motherfuckers with this Neuralink, and they're all going to be my soldiers for justice going forward? You know what I mean?
If someone can like hack it
Yeah.
and then turn you
Turn
into
you into mindless zombies.
Oh, that would be bad.
That's the zombie apocalypse we're really looking at here.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of that.
No, that sounds terrible.
I didn't even really consider that. That I don't know. That could be a problem. The other thing is computers, they tend to get, they can get viruses and they can lag and be shitty after a while. And, or you
What
like, have
happens
to like,
if your brain starts spamming?
like, oh, my battery in my
Shit.
brain is dying. I got to plug in somewhere.
Trying to do a test and it's just dildos coming through your brain.
That's no good.
That'd be terrible, man.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No.
Well, I think it's very exciting. And one of the things that he also mentioned, like he was kind of interested in designing and building a house. Like he's selling off all of his houses and all of his kind of expensive things because he doesn't want people to have attack vectors.
That's right. He wants to be a renter.
He's going to rent. He's going to be like, oh.
Imagine having to worry about attack vectors.
Yeah, because he's like a billionaire. And
Yeah.
he just does. I think he's just a little bit, maybe too concerned about what his image is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do like, though, that he was thinking, because he kind of got excited to design his own house and make a heliport where it opens up and basically a Tony Stark house.
He's Tony Stark.
And because he basically is Tony Stark. So he was kind of excited to do that. But then he decided, you know what? Like, is this the best use of my mental capacity? And he kind of divides it into like percentages, and he calls them, was it revolutions or something? I kind of forget. But he was saying like, brain cycles, I think is what he was saying.
Okay.
So he's like, I could devote 10% of my brain cycles to this, designing this house, and it'd be a lot of fun. But also I could get us to Mars. And you're like,
That's
yeah,
right.
maybe take us to Mars.
Let
Like,
someone else build the house.
yeah,
you
someone
know?
else can design and build a house. Sure, you
Yeah.
might enjoy the aspects of that, but is that worth focusing 10% or 5% of your brain cycles? I don't think so.
No.
So, get the Neuralink happening. Get us to Mars, sure. I would even say, fuck Mars. Get the Neuralink.
Yeah.
To me, that's what I'm most excited about right now. Although, if the weather starts getting worse, maybe I'll change my tune.
Because you know what? If they empower our brains so much, we're going to figure Mars out pretty fucking quick. If you're turning on areas of your brain you're not used to using.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's
Once we
not going to
get-
be an issue.
If we can get Neuralink up and running and then get everyone to the same brain level as Elon Musk,
He has to be thinking that.
we'll be
exact
to
thought.
Mars and beyond.
That's why he's saying we're in Mars in like 5 years. Because he knows all that.
Maybe.
He's going to have other guys well, I mean, there must be some super geniuses working for him too. Like, maybe
Oh,
a
yeah.
little less smart than Elon Musk. Maybe a little smarter.
Maybe smarter in some aspects.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe like creepy and evil. And there's one guy you have to keep in the top dungeon laboratory. You can't
you
let him
think-
interact with everyone else.
You think Elon Musk is maybe on the autistic spectrum, slightly, somewhere?
I've often thought about autism and its like
Yeah.
implications in like
The
in
savant,
some way
like,
it's sort of a disability for them, and in other ways like
it's
you
a
see
super
instances-
ability.
yeah, they have like superpowers.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking that when I was listening because he is a little bit kind of awkward and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or that they've evolved in some other way that we're not on board with yet.
Yeah.
You know? We don't
variety
have
is
that.
one of the most important things. Did we talk about that in our last podcast? Variety and how we need variety in order to.
Probably. It's been on the mind.
I never know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should listen to the show.
Yeah.
Um,
I listened to the last one.
Did you?
Kinda
What did
had
you
to.
think?
I thought it was not bad.
I thought the audio kind of tapered off a little bit. We got a little quieter.
Yeah, it was definitely solid in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it I think I was sitting back for
It was better than I expected. I was, being outside, I thought, we'll hear a lot of the wind and whatnot, but you really didn't hear very much.
That aspect, it's almost better.
Yeah.
There's
I wonder.
no echo from the room at all. Like
That's true.
it's getting pure sound out here. And it happens to be a very quiet neighborhood you live in here, so
Yeah. Right now, it's really nice.
Yeah.
We did have those sirens and barking dogs earlier,
That's true.
but
Yeah.
we'll see. We might not hear those at all.
Yeah. So Elon Musk is definitely worried about the coronavirus, but not in a health way, in a we're losing our liberties way.
Yeah.
And that's fucking scary to me to hear somebody that smart is worried about that, which is actually something I was already worried about. But to hear him be worried about it makes me even more worried.
It's true. It's very concerning, and he thinks, get everyone back to work. That there was way too much to stop everyone. It was right in the beginning. It was the right thing to do. But once we realized that it wasn't, that our statistics are much, much better, that we should be immediately taking actions to get the economy open. And we might even be late in taking those actions.
Right.
We could have started this a couple of weeks ago, potentially.
I think a lot of businesses have already had the final nail put in their coffin by this.
Absolutely, they have. And, maybe they should have been more diverse, like not getting New York started a couple weeks ago,
Right.
but more diverse in picking our spots. Okay, this place is doing well. Let's get them started. And then monitoring. Okay, no, the cases are coming up. It's too much for the hospital. Let's shut down this mall and this mall and this mall.
Yeah.
It
It was also Elon Musk that brought up the point that the death rate or the average death age of COVID-19 is higher than the average death age.
Yeah, that's true.
Which tells you, like, hey, man, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that they're contributing a lot of deaths. Like if you get hit by a car and you had COVID-19, that's a COVID-19.
That's right.
death.
He said if you get eaten by a shark,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a COVID death.
That's because the hospitals need the money.
Yes.
So they get like $10,000 if it's a COVID patient, but they only get like $3,000 if it's just a regular patient. And they don't have patients because
how interesting
they're trying
is
to
that?
keep beds available for the COVID people. So we're keeping, it's like, because we need to keep the money flow there. I don't know. It's a complex problem.
But that's an American problem. That's not a Canadian problem,
Right.
And they might have better health care overall. Like, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
The reason, obviously because ours is all government funded, our hospitals are getting the same amount of money to keep those beds.
right.
Like none of our doctors are taking pay cuts
No.
because they're not
Everything's
seeing
rolled.
patients.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's getting their same money. That's the advantage, for sure.
Mhm.
And that's a big flaw in their system.
Yeah, I don't know. What else about Elon?
Let's move on to Jerry 1471 with Tony Hinchcliffe. So I wrote down this quote, and what they're talking about is pythons are taking over Florida.
Right.
They're basically decimating everything down there.
Yeah.
They have no natural enemies. That's the big problem, right? They're an
Bad.
outside species, assholes, bought them as pets,
Yeah.
couldn't handle them, let them go, and now they are killing everything.
They just don't stop growing. They just keep eating bigger and bigger shit.
Yeah, like fucking alligators and shit. The crazy thing, though, is how it's not okay to make boots out of their skin, but cows are super nice, and we make everything out of their skins.
We fuck cows over
Yeah,
so
like
badly.
they become couches and car seats and boots.
Yeah.
But you can't make a nice pair of like python skin
No.
boots.
No.
That is absolutely insane. And the quote that I wrote is from Joe Rogan. Leave your baby in a field with a python, and you'll come back to a fat python and no baby.
Absolutely.
That's such a good quote. Like, and
Oh, yeah.
absolutely true. There's no two ways about it. But leave your baby in a field with a cow? I don't know.
Might get stepped on.
It might get stepped on. Probably not, though. I think the cows are pretty aware of their, like, what they're stepping on and where they're going and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not advising people to go put their babies out in fields with cows, but I'm saying they have a much better chance than with the python.
You think a python tastes at all like a good steak?
No,
Damn.
they don't seem like they taste
That's
good.
the problem.
Yeah,
Once we agreed that they taste so good, it's like they have no respect whatsoever.
Yeah.
We fuck them up for every possible way we can.
it really is a pity.
Go beyond eating and leather and think about rodeos.
Yeah,
Cows get the worst shake, man.
yeah.
The worst. Maybe pigs get a worse shake. Their life sucks too, I think.
Well, the thing about pigs is that they seem to have more awareness.
Yeah,
and more,
so maybe
like,
it's way worse, actually.
So yeah, like they know that they're family member. They know that recognize they're going to be killed. They know they're losing their family. Whereas like cows, you could kill one cow in the field of cows, and all the other cows are like, huh? And that's it. Yeah. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But life eats life. Ethically, I don't agree with factory farming, but farming in Alberta is actually pretty good. And I try to buy my meat from farms where they are ethically raising their animals. And I would like to even go a step further and try to find more like sustainably sourced meat where it's, I remember Joe had the farmer on that he used to like kind of like move his farm all around.
Right. So they're not
space.
just fucking up one piece of
so
land.
they're not just in one piece of land, and it creates diversity in the land, and then the land can grow things better.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just always only ever have one thing,
and it's better for them what they eat too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the monocrop agriculture, oh boy, that seems really bad.
I think it's more like I think everyone is supposed to have a fucking chicken or a cow or something.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you're all contributing something and not everyone's relying on the system, the food system, to feed us. Which
Maybe
is
we'll get
obviously
there someday.
very flawed. We found out with like barely a scare and
Yeah.
toilet paper went MIA.
That's really not.
God damn.
That's
man.
the fault of society. That's not
Yeah.
really a fault of the.
But
production of
society
toilet
still
paper.
exists, which is,
It's true, but it's only because we bought toilet paper so much. Like,
Yeah.
there was no need for that to happen.
Do you think a lesson was learned, or do you think we'll
No.
just do that to something else now?
Yeah, definitely no lessons learned.
Beef's a real problem right now because of all their. I think it's coming back online now, but it was a big problem for us because
Yeah.
the Cargill plant and the other meat plants having their COVID scare.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to UFC 249?
Let's do it.
All right, what an event. So, should we just go through kind of the main card?
Let's do it.
Start
From
at the bottom?
Yeah, sure.
We're started at the bottom, now I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first fight, Greg Hardy versus Jorgen De Castro.
Yeah.
I was cheering for Jorgen, and if I would have bet money on any fight, I would have bet money on Jorgen De Castro to
beat Hardy?
Yeah, Hardy was favored, and I was like, ooh, I love an underdog.
God, he was so much bigger though. Oh my God.
I just thought, especially after that first round, I was like, oh, Jorgen had him, it seemed like.
Yeah.
He seemed the better fighter, but then he threw a kick on Greg Hardy and missed almost. Would have been 1,000 times better to miss, but he basically just hit like the top of his foot and his toes on Greg Hardy's shin and ended up breaking his foot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that Hardy didn't really acknowledge that and use that to his advantage. He kind of stayed the course and fought the same fight that he was fighting in the first round, and it just happened. It was, of course, much more effective in the second and third round because Jorgen wasn't throwing shit. There was like 2.5 minutes where Jorgen didn't throw a punch.
Yeah.
It was insane, and I couldn't believe that Greg Hardy just kind of kept the same pace rather than like turning it up, acknowledging that there was an issue.
You know what's
But I guess that's
interesting, though?
inexperience, right? Hardy's so new, but I don't like that guy.
But Hardy was hearing DC. DC was saying what Hardy needs to do to win the fight. He was hearing it.
That's true, yeah.
Like live, getting the best advice you could get, especially for a thickie like that.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah, that was an issue they talked about.
Like, fuck.
Who was it that credited?
That was him. He shouted out DC. He was like, thanks for the advice, DC.
Was it Greg Hardy? No,
It might have been someone else, but I know Hardy did
Earlier
say
card.
thanks too.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
So fucking
That's
crazy.
too bad. I wish that. What we need to do is we need to put earplugs in the fighters so that they can't hear. I don't even think, you know what? No corners. Like, corners seems like a weird cheating thing. Like, you have somebody watching that's telling you
You
advice.
figure this shit out, then you go fight.
No,
We'll talk after.
Exactly. You train, and then you go out there. I think put the fighters only in the room. Everyone else watches from monitors.
Then we see a real test of man against man.
And no more rounds, okay? You go out there until you're done.
I want one of you bitches dead at the end of this.
Well, they don't need to die, but they need to say uncle.
Yeah. It sounded a lot more like gladiators than UFC.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It would be a truer test of skill, but
Absolutely.
I like what we have now too. I think
It's pretty good.
It's an interesting aspect to have the coach there giving advice during the fight, but it has always seemed a little weird to me. Like, what? You're allowed to do this?
Well, even having it in the arena at all is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's set up for like live pay-per-view recording and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like they could have done that better at the Apex Center.
And cages have a certain appeal to them because of like Mad Max and Thunderdome.
Right.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. So it's like cage matches have always been sort of a subversive kind of a fringe thing. So that makes it exciting. That adds a certain level of kind of excitement to it.
Yeah.
That really isn't necessary. We'd have a better, like they talk about sometimes, do it in a football field, and we'd have a better view. And it would be better for the fighters, but wouldn't have that same sort of appeal.
I feel like it would end in one guy trying to run away and getting chopped down from behind.
I don't think so. They both
I mean,
people
maybe.
agree they want to fight. Every once in a while, you do have one person running away from the other, but I don't know.
But think about how far you could get on your bike and go if there's no like that
true.
Nate and Connor fight when Connor kept running away from Nate and Nate was pointing at him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That would, like, imagine if Connor had like a football field.
Yeah.
What would we be looking at?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Then we had Jeremy Stevens and Calvin Kattar,
Yeah.
which was a great fight.
Great fight.
Really fun. Kattar got the KO on Stevens. Stevens is such a beast. Both super game.
Yeah.
And you know, both in there giving it 100%. So that was a really, really fun watch.
Stevens took one bitch of a cut right at the end of that fight. That elbow, I think it was the elbow that put him down that cut him.
Yeah.
Fucking
so
bad,
rare
man.
that you see someone get knocked down from an elbow.
But fuck, man,
It was just
bad.
perfect though, like right on the chin.
He took a few more hits than I was happy with, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, you thought a little bit
I
of a late
thought as
stoppage?
soon as he went down, it was over. He went down, he was fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
But
see-
again, the fighter, they're going to keep fighting. So
yeah, I can see that.
fighters fight. So
How about Francis
oh
Ngannou
my god,
and
this is
Rosenstrike?
the scariest man on earth.
Oh my god. Rosenstrike, I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought this was going to go into the second or maybe third round. Just because I thought, Stipe could take the shot. Rosenstrike maybe could take it. I didn't
He's
think,
another big crazy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to go the way, but Francis stormed him
Oh,
in 20
Jesus.
seconds. Just stormed him and eventually landed one shot, put him down.
So Francis's coaches are probably like, yeah, we got the win, but
Yeah, don't do
we
that.
trained for 3 months.
Yeah.
You did nothing but run like a madman.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Like, what if you got caught coming in? Which you could have easily.
I feel like that's going to happen to him eventually
I know.
because he's so reckless.
That was reckless.
Oh, but it was powerful.
But it was fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, great
He
fight.
took about 6 shots he didn't need to take.
Yeah,
Those are like, dude, those are all killing shots.
agreed.
God
Agreed.
damn it.
Then Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz,
Oh,
which bit of a controversial
yeah.
fight there.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with everyone who's saying that it was a good stoppage.
Yeah.
like,
he wasn't winning
Now
that fight.
after the fact, yeah, he was losing pretty bad. He had 12 unanswered shots, and I understand Dom's point was he was getting up. He wasn't unconscious, and he was working his way up.
And I actually agree with that. I
So-
think the fight should have been stopped before he was trying to get up.
Exactly. It's like you stop the fight 3 punches earlier before he starts getting up,
Yeah.
and it's a great stoppage.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
actually a late stoppage, not an early stoppage.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. But
Yeah.
I know, and I wonder if he sees it that way now, having some space.
Yeah.
In the moment, right after the fight, when he's talking about it and saying but he was super coherent, and he knew exactly.
Well, in the days after,
what
he was
has happened.
tweeting hard against Keith Peterson. the
Was he
referee.
still?
Yeah,
He was,
yeah.
okay, so he
And
did
was
not
saying
see
he
it
smelled of
differently.
alcohol and cigarettes
Oh
too.
no!
I don't know why cigarettes matter, but alcohol and cigarettes. I was trying to read my Bible.
Oh, Dom. That's too bad. I like
That's
Dom.
kind of whack.
I was kind of cheering for Dom, actually.
It's bad sportsmanship, though, right?
That is not. Yeah, that
the
leaves
whole
a
thing
sour
was ugly.
taste.
Yeah.
Cejudo,
I was definitely cheering for Dom. I fucking hate Cejudo.
yeah, king of cringe.
Yeah.
And do you think he's retired? And after the fight, he announced he was retiring.
I think there's some behind the scenes shit with him, so I think it is real. And
Yeah.
actually, it came out after he was the highest paid fighter on that card.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Hmm.
So even though that was the case, he still didn't get enough. And but he was on The Fighter and the Kid, not The Fighter and the Kid, Below the Belt, and he was talking about how he might retire after the next fight, and that was, I don't know, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So
pretty good resume, and he could transition into opening a gym or
Yeah.
coaching or something, or
Yeah.
who wants to spend more time. He wants
Or
to
even
not.
if he's been smart with his money, maybe he can just chill and
He
he's
probably
living
could.
off the interest in
Yeah,
whatever.
he probably could.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want to though. Like who
I think
at
there's
36 wants to just chill?
he was the youngest Olympic wrestler, I think, to win. So
Yeah.
he's got all these like accolades. He's got
Yeah.
the double champ thing.
Totally.
He's just so
Triple
cringy.
champ?
Yeah, triple C is what he calls himself.
Yeah,
Whack
because
is-
he's 125, 35, and 45, right?
No 45. He calls the Olympic medal the triple.
Oh, that's the third one? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 25 and 35. This one was at 35.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And he actually relinquished the 125 belt when he
Oh, he
chose to take this title match.
But weren't they kind of getting rid of the 125 division since
I
it
think
was
they
like
were, but it's been saved.
Mighty Mouse was,
By who? Someone's fucking people up in 125. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I never do.
I think
because-
it's women.
that's what it should be.
Yeah,
I say the women 125 division cleans out the men's 125.
probably. I would love to. They should make that fight.
Yeah. Or even 135 women against 125 men.
Sure. Yeah,
Like,
make it more fair.
Shevchenko head kicks the fuck out of some of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'd be cheering for if they made that fight 135 woman versus 125 man. I would cheer for the woman no matter who it is that's fighting. 100% guaranteed.
How
I
would you
be
feel
cheering
if
for the woman.
Jeremy Stevens mollywopped
Oh.
fucking Holly Holm?
No, I don't want that.
Oh my god,
No,
that's bad news bears.
but he's like fucking one. Is that 135? I
That's
think
45 and
145.
45. Holly Holm has fought it.
Yeah,
45.
I don't think that's fair. That's not.
It's more like Aldo versus Holm,
Yeah,
which would be it's still pretty bad to watch.
yeah. I don't know. It's the lesser ranked 125.
They got to be really
that's
light.
That's who could do it.
Yeah.
All right. And then the main event: Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. There was a tweet that you know what? I kind of don't like that they post tweets on the left hand side
That
of
was
the
kinda
corner,
lame,
which
yeah.
is a little bit like distracting, or
Yeah.
like they post commercials on the right hand side, which I don't really like. But there was a tweet where someone said Tony Ferguson's chin should be retired to the Hall of Fame, which I thought was pretty awesome.
I know, man.
Because GSP got the nod, the Hall of Fame nod in this event, which was awesome. And I watched the little segment on GSP, and what a great fighter! Still my favorite fighter of all time, for sure.
Still talk
you know?
of him coming back.
Yeah, he could come back. He could fight fucking Gaethje, maybe
Whoever he wants.
whoever he wants. Connor would be the. I would think if he was going to come back, I would think Connor is who he'd fight because he would want like the biggest money.
He definitely wants less than 185 though. He did obviously
Yeah.
did well at 185. He won the
Well,
belt,
yeah,
but
but he wasn't fighting. Even,
didn't
you would
look
say
great.
he wasn't really fighting a true 185er there either with Bisping.
he looked like somebody stuck a balloon filler up his ass. Like
Yeah.
he just looked like GSP but thick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think that's optimum for him.
No, I think 70
70's good.
is the good
I
spot.
think
He
55 would
says
be
he
fine
can make
too.
55.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I'd say 70 is where he should be.
Yeah, maybe he could do 55, but I don't want him to hurt himself trying to get to that.
Oh, it's
weight
muddy
either.
enough around there anyway at 55.
Yeah, but man, Gaethje had the perfect plan. How much do you think is the problem? Like, because Ferguson was obviously planning for Khabib,
Yeah.
who is like almost the exact opposite of style of Gaethje.
Totally. Yeah.
Do you think that was the biggest problem? That if they would have prepared for Gaethje, you think Ferguson might have had a better go of it?
There was that, but also even preparing for Gaethje, we got a different Gaethje this time. We got at first he came out power slugging,
Yeah,
but he sort of like he listened to his coach.
yeah. It was
His coach
reserved.
said, "Take fucking 10% off. You're trying to kill him."
It's true.
And as soon as he did that, the fight was his from then on. So,
Yeah.
I'm worried about Gaethje against Conor, which is being talked about.
Because you think the power of Connor could be. I don't know. He took some pretty good shots from Ferguson. If he can take that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Gaethje
Yeah.
might stop.
Oh, you think
Conor.
Oh, yeah, because you love Connor.
I don't need to see Conor get knocked out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Gaethje could be a
he could
real
be the guy
problem
that
for
knocks
Conor.
out Conor.
Yeah.
And I think if Conor was to be knocked out, I think his star falls pretty far.
Mm.
And it's one thing to be tapped out because we've seen that. That's
Mhm.
it's clear that's not his top game. But it's going to be
enough.
interesting who fights who here
Yeah.
coming up.
Some crazy.
Conor's
fights
fighting
to make.
somebody. We know that it's fucking Khabib or it's Gaethje at this point.
Yeah.
Or Masvidal.
He wanted like 3 fights this year.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
It's too late for
his
that.
contract. But
COVID said fuck you on that one.
Yeah. COVID said hold my mask.
Yeah. None of that. We're not doing anything cool. Not
Yeah.
until fucking June.
All right. Well,
God damn.
that's the card. It was a fantastic one. Go watch it. You
But
know.
obviously Tony got fucked up.
Yeah.
We didn't
He
really
did.
say that, but
Yeah.
I mean
Gaethje
everybody
won
saw it, I'm sure.
by TKO, and Tony was still standing when they stopped it,
But he was shaking his head.
But he was shaking his head, kind
Oh
of
my
weird,
God.
like I think trying to clear the cobwebs is
Not good.
my guess. They were saying maybe because he had blood in his eyes, and he was trying
Yeah.
to get
Well, he had a
that-
broken orbital. It came out after.
yeah. So I don't know if it'd be interesting to hear everyone's honest. Like I'd love for the fighters to be able to go in afterwards and say, like, this is honestly what was happening and whatnot. But there's so much mind games that they're playing with each other. They don't want to admit, being hurt and stuff like that. Often that we don't get like the true representation of what happened from them.
Joe's been talking about beatings that some guys can't recover from,
Yeah.
and how that very likely might be one of them. Like what happened with JDS and Cain Velasquez. I actually
Yeah.
never saw the fight, but I hear about it a whole lot. And he basically stole JDS's soul. Cain
Yeah.
Velasquez did.
But Tony, I mean, I don't know. Hard to say. One of the things that Tony's the toughest guy that's ever lived.
Why didn't he get
Right?
knocked out?
He doesn't.
What the hell, man?
He just got something in the way his skull and brain, I bet you his blood-brain barrier is thicker than ours. It's probably
Very
like
likely.
twice as thick as ours, and his skull's probably thicker, and probably the way his jaw connects is like he's got stronger muscles there, and just everything is designed for him to be able to stay conscious
I think
after being hit in the
the
head.
lean, wiry nature of him too, like just
Being
tough
lighter weight.
tough to break. you
Yeah.
know? Oh, it was hard to watch though.
It was.
I
It
love
was-
Tony Ferguson, and that was tough. I
Yeah.
was definitely pulling for Ferguson.
Yeah, and I mean, if it had gone to the ground, pretty sure he would have been able to catch Gaethje. I mean, Gaethje's a great wrestler, but I think submission-wise, Ferguson 100% has. But Gaethje's such a strong wrestler that he just would. Tony didn't even really try to take him down.
No.
Because he knew he had to. I think the game plan for Tony was beat him up a little bit, and once he's tired, then try to take him down. And Gaethje just didn't get tired. He saved that, like you said, took 10% off of his punches, managed his breathing. He looked great all the way into the 5th
If
round.
he takes that going forward, he's a motherfucker. He's someone to be worried about
Yeah,
for all those guys.
absolutely.
I want to see him against Khabib. He might be the guy that has the answer for Khabib's grappling.
Well, his wrestling didn't really get tested in this.
It didn't, no.
Khabib would test it.
It hasn't really been tested in the UFC
Yeah,
because
I know.
he's a brawler. He hates
Yeah.
being called it, but that's what he's been.
he's all-American. He was an All-American Division I. I think I'm pretty sure he has some pretty good accolades in
he
wrestling
definitely does.
before he got to the UFC. So I'm sure he'll be good. I don't know. It'd be like you say. That's the fight I really want to see next is now Gaethje versus Khabib.
Yeah.
And I don't know about Tony. We'll see where.
Tony needs to sit on ice for
I
6
wish-
months at least.
I wish Tony could have fought Khabib. And-
Yeah,
because
he's
he
been training
deserved.
for that fight for the fucking years.
He fucking
Like,
deserved that fight.
Yeah.
That's really, really sad that didn't happen.
You know what? I don't think that fight happens now until someone beats Khabib,
I don't know.
and then maybe we'll see the fight. But
I don't know. It's not it'll never be what it would have been if
No.
Khabib just would have fought him a month ago.
Yeah.
Which is the really sad and shitty part of it.
it is. Yeah.
But, they'll all get over it. They got paid good money. They're famous. They're going to be okay.
But if that's a representation of what UFCs are going to be, sans crowds, I'm all right. That was fucking cool. That was a great card, man.
Yeah.
We both missed the one last night.
We're going to watch it.
I've
we'll
been
watch
spoiled
that again.
severely on that
Yeah.
one, but I'm going
There's
to watch
like-
it.
There's like 3 UFCs here in 10 days,
Yeah.
which is absolutely crazy.
Cody,
So,
or Dana's got to make that nut.
yeah.
He's got to get making some money
This
here.
UFCs every night. Nightly
Yeah.
UFCs,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with, too.
Yeah, totally.
It'll be hard to stay caught up, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wind her down there, Shane.
Sounds good, buddy.
Anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I think we're good.
Thanks for sticking with us, team. We love you guys. Rate and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. That helps us out a ton.
Yep.
Rate and review. Click on our links and buy our shit. If you
All
want to
that
sponsor us, holler at us. If you just have advice or you just want to talk about whatever we're talking about, please let us know.
We can definitely work something out.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're reachable.
Absolutely. I think that's it.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Have a good night, buddy.
Hey there, Joe Rogan, super fan. This podcast is for you, my man. Or woman, or non-binary. Our recaps will be legendary. The Rogan Report Podcast. Come on, you'll have a blast at the Rogan Report Podcast.